And joining us here on the Factor Uncensored Off the Clock, we have with us Greg Dupree out of Dallas, former law enforcement officer and security consultant. Greg, here on the Factor, we've been covering the case involving entertainer David, who it's my understanding that he grew up here in the city of Dallas, in the city of Houston, rather, and has
Mhm.
become an entertainer, rapper, musician. And police in California are reporting that a body was found in the back of the vehicle that he was driving and or that he owned, but he wasn't in the vehicle at the time. We're still
Mhm.
trying to work all of that out and get all of the details. But it's understanding that they have identified the body of a 15-year-old female that was found in the back of the Tesla. What do we know so far, Greg? And what are you hearing as a result of looking into this for us at the Factor?
Well, basically, what happened was they found this Tesla abandoned in the Hollywood Hills area of California. They towed it to the lot. They noticed it had a bad odor coming from it. When they opened the trunk, which is in the front of the car, they found the decomposing body of a 15-year-old girl. At that time, I guess they contacted David, and he pretty much made no statement about well, he made no public statement one way or the other as to, why the car was in California or if he had any association with the person found in the trunk, which at the time they were unable to identify her. It took a bit of time for them to identify her because the body had decomposed so badly. But once they did, he still didn't make any type of public statement. And now they're waiting on the autopsy report to see just how this child died, so they can determine whether or not this is a crime and or homicide, and then to follow up with a subsequent investigation. And it's so confusing because according to some of the reports, this girl has been missing out of Riverside, California, for since she was 13. But you've heard family members make statements about, well, she told them she was dating David. Well, if she was missing, the family members had contact with her recently to say she's been dating this guy. Seems kind of odd. So I don't know at this point what the true story is. All we know is that the child is dead, and we just have to see what happens. Once the determination is made as to how she died.
Wow. And of course, then we have also the element her family said they were told that she was dating at whether it's 13 or 15,
Hmm.
David, an adult male.
Hmm. Correct. Correct. She was. They even had matching tattoos, I believe, on their right index fingers that said "shh," had the word "shh"
Mhm.
inscribed upon it. And as I said before, he had given no indication that he had any type of association with this young lady. But it seems kind of strange that he had made no statement as far as how his car. Well, my car was stolen. He said nothing about his car being stolen or who was driving it, how it became missing from, well, how I got from Houston to California. But we're going to find all that out because it was a Tesla. And a Tesla is pretty much like Big Brother on wheels. It has cameras everywhere. And I'm sure once the police make access to all the car's information, data information, they'll be able to put this together pretty quickly.
And of course, the young 15-year-old female has been identified as Celeste Rivas.
Hmm.
Um, but we have not heard any more from her family as of yet,
Right. Right.
Greg,
As
or only
uh,
that they were dating.
she
That's what the
only
family
that
said.
they were dating, and they've had, I guess, video and photographic evidence that proves that point that they were associated together.
And
But as
that's
I
already
said,
made it on social media,
it's
right?
made it on
People
social
already
media.
posting their photos
Exactly,
together.
exactly. And yet, to this point, you still have heard nothing out of David's camp about any of this.
Do you think uh police are, well, I mean, I was about to ask a dumbass question. If
Hey.
police are looking at him, obviously, if it's his vehicle,
Without a doubt, they're not only
maybe,
looking at him,
maybe I
but
haven't
they're,
had enough sleep, Greg. That's what it is.
no, you're asking the right questions because if it was somebody else that was a person of interest, I'm sure by now we would have heard about it. But this
Mhm.
all seems suspicious. As I said, he's made no statement. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that this guy's guilty. I'm just
Right,
saying
right.
that the
Absolutely
behavior,
not.
yeah, he could be completely innocent. That girl could have died. The car could have very well been stolen, and she could have died on any number of ways. It just looks suspicious. And I mean, from a PR standpoint, if nothing else, it doesn't make him look good at this point. And
Now,
with the
and
police,
if you can recall, Greg, he
mhm.
wasn't even in town when the car was discovered, right? I think he
No.
was out on tour or performing or
Hmm.
something.
That's right. He's an international performer. He was out, he's been doing tours across the country. He had a tour coming up in Seattle, which they just recently canceled. But at this point, we don't know when that tour started, and we don't know how long that girl's body had been decomposing. So, until they establish a timeline, which is either going to clear him completely or it's going to connect him to the girl's death in some kind of way. So we
And
just have to
and
wait
really
to see.
quick, Greg, once again, the car.
Mhm.
What have you found? Who's is he the registered owner of the car or the known driver of the car? What?
As far as I've heard so far, he is a registered. Well, it's registered to a company that is associated with his name. So
Okay,
I don't know
got
if
it.
he had
But
a,
it's not
LLC,
directly
right?
in
Directly
his name. Yeah, we
registered
want
to
to be
him. Correct.
crystal
Clear
clear
about
on
that.
all of that.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens in this case, fascinating case, and
Yeah.
tragic out of California. And of course, we'll be calling on you for more information as this continues to develop, and we'll see what happens. And our prayers to the victim's
Oh,
family in this
definitely,
case.
definitely,
All right,
definitely.
Greg, always good to see you on the
You too,
Factor
buddy.
Off the Clock. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Adam.